Welcome to Home Practice and today's release-based class. My name is Tom, and for those who might be helpful, I'm a white male standing dancer with a bushy beard. I'm wearing a pair of dark blue dance trousers and a light blue top. And I'm going to be joined a bit later by Nadan, a wheelchair dancer who's going to help with some of the translations for some of the sequences we'll be doing later. So in this class, we'll divide it into three parts. We'll have an improvisational beginning part, where I'll introduce some of the principles for today, and then two sequences where we can put all of that into practice. So make sure you've got a nice clear space and you're ready to move. So you've done a bit of warming up, you've generated some heat in your body, and then find a comfortable working position in the middle of your space. You might, I'll introduce the four principles we're working with today. And the first one is breath. The second is weight or gravity. The third is momentum. And the last one is circles or circular movement. So I'm going to introduce those principles within this first improvisational starting exercise. So in the center of your space, you might like to turn away from the screen and just listen to my voice to help guide you through this next part. If you'd like to, you can also close your eyes. For me, that really helps. For others, just relax your eyes so you have just a soft focus. So, in your upright working position, take a moment to connect with your breath. And for me, it helps me to place my hands somewhere on my torso where I feel my breath a bit more easily. So for me, that would be my belly. And I'm just going to tune in to my breathing, noticing the breath come in and go out. I'd recommend breathing through the nose. And you don't have to change your breath at all. So you don't have to modify it, make it deeper or longer. But as you notice it, it may change as well. Feel free to move your hands to different places on your torso to help tune into the breath. You might find that you naturally shift your weight from side to side or backwards or forwards. And I like to think about the breath a bit like waves coming in onto a beach. The wave comes in and it goes out. Like the breath comes in and goes out. So it has a cycle or a circular nature where the beginning becomes the end and then the end becomes the beginning. When you feel like you've really got a good feeling for the breath, you might let your hands go down and relax. Equally, if you'd like to keep your hands on your torso, if it helps you, then go ahead. So if you've ever spent much time in the waves, perhaps on the beach, in the water, you might remember that it's a lot easier to go with the waves rather than against them. So if the wave is coming into the beach, it's a lot easier to move with that wave rather than against it. So in the same way with our movements, we're going to go with the breath. So as you breathe in and breathe out, finding movement that you can start to shift, going with the breath. And you might, if your eyes are closed, you might like to open your eyes now so that you can feel comfortable to shift, change weight, and not worry about bumping into anything. So as the breath comes in and the breath goes out, going with that breath with your movement. So it should feel quite efficient, no effort. Feel free to change level, to use your limbs in space. Your breath might have deepened as we go, and if you get a little dizzy at all, just be careful not to breathe too deeply. So like the waves going in and out, following the breath as it goes in and out without moving. Don't worry if your movement looks very different to mine. I encourage you to tune into the sensation of the moving and the breath rather than having to copy or be similar in any way to what I'm doing. And then we're going to add onto this moving with the breath a sense of weight or gravity. Sometimes the exhalation will really help with this part. So by taking perhaps a nice big sigh, you get to feel the drop, the fall. So working with the breath and the weight. And I encourage you to feel the weight or the possibility to go down with the lowest part of your available spine. If you're working standing, down through the legs into the ground. Trying to find weight not just with the upper body, that might feel a bit easier, but also down into your lower available spine, lowest available body. You may find that as you go down, following the weight, that you might need to make a bit more space with the inhalation before you go down again. Let the breath be loud. Don't worry about making sounds, that's fine. Sometimes it's very helpful to use the breath with some sound to help find weight. And then the next level we're going to add on to this is momentum. So for example, if I drop my arm, I might use that momentum to take me somewhere else. So I take advantage of the weight as it drops and I redirect that somewhere else. There's lots of speed and energy generated from gravity, and then I use that momentum to take me somewhere else. Breath. weight, and momentum. Ooh. You may feel that the movement and the breath can sometimes feel like it's the same thing. So they're no longer separate. You no longer have to hold two things in your mind, moving and breathing. They become the same thing. And then the last part that we're going to add is thinking about circles. And that could be circles in the extremities of the body, or perhaps more closer to the core. So you may notice that you're already making lots of circles, particularly as you let weight drop, you continue the momentum. It has a curve or a circular nature to it already. So perhaps just giving a little bit more attention to the possibility of circles. Breath, weight, momentum, and circles. Yeah. Just a few more moments. Perhaps you'd like to concentrate more on one of those, or perhaps you're feeling like you want to try and juggle all of them at the same time. Remember, your exploration is your own exploration. It doesn't have to look like anything that I'm doing. It's more important just to follow the principles. Breath, weight, momentum, and circles. And when you're ready, finding a place to rest, and perhaps take a pause and have a sip of water. So next up, I have a very short exercise for you. So I'd like you to find somewhere in your space where you can put your fingers, your fingertips on a surface and let your elbows hang loose. So perhaps if you're working standing, you might try that standing up, or also seated works quite well, using perhaps the back of a chair or a table about this height, or perhaps even better, a little bit higher. Anywhere that you can feel your elbows just able to hang. And then we're going to sit or stand nice and tall, and then with the pads of our fingers resting on that surface, we're going to start to shake and jiggle the elbows. And the idea of this is that the elbows feel like they get a little bit heavier, a little bit looser. And you can do that in different ways. You can use your shoulders, loosening up the elbows, the shoulders. You can do that one at a time, or both, going in and out, or both directions. Just try a few different things, feeling like the elbows get a little bit heavier, a little bit looser. And careful not to slowly, bit by bit, bring your head down. Keep your head nice and tall so that the elbows get heavier away from the shoulders and the spine. So let's go a few more moments. Shaking, loosening, heavy, heavy elbows. And then When you're ready, we're going to come to a pause. And in that stillness, send your attention into the elbows and allow the tissues to be opened or pulled a little bit longer with the weight of the elbow in this stillness. As if all of the creases in the tissues are ironed out or lengthened. As the elbow drops, and that might lengthen the tissues into the shoulder blade and perhaps from the shoulder blade into the spine. So we have more space from the spine through the shoulder into the elbow on both sides. Sometimes it needs a little bit of time for your nervous system to release the weight. And I took this exercise from an organization called Energy Arts, and they teach a lot of Qigong and Tai Chi, and we'll put a link in the description below in case you want to check them out. And then when you feel like there isn't any more space left, you can release your fingertips and just maybe give your arms a swing by your sides or get the elbows swinging. And then you can come back into your space in a working position. So just before we go into a longer sequence of movement, I just want to introduce the idea of a swing. So we'll start that by, I'm going to turn to the side just so you can see. We're going to start with a roll down just to find a bit of a curve in the spine. So in your comfortable working position, just bring the chin towards the chest and slowly roll down halfway until you feel a nice curve in the spine from the top, just where the spine enters the skull and your lowest available spine. If you need to support with the hands, perhaps on the legs or on your chair, that's also fine. Heavy in the elbows, loose in the elbows, and then pushing from the base to roll yourself up. And then we'll do that one more time. Chin to chest, heaviness in the head, finding a curve. And when you're there this time, just have a move around. Really check that your head is really released. The heaviness in your arms and your elbows will help that too. So you have a nice curve in your spine. Loosening up as well. And then pushing from the base once again to roll yourself up. So how we're going to introduce the idea of a swing is to bring the arms up above. And I'm going to show you first. Again, I'll go to the side so you can see the curve in my spine. I'm going to let my arms drop with weight and make the most of the momentum to come back up again. So if I think about those 4 principles, I'm going to use my breath. That's the most important thing. Perhaps I can let a breath out as I swing here and breathe in to come up. As a possibility, you can make your own choice there, but just keep breathing and like we did in the beginning, not fighting those waves. And then I can also think about the weight, so the weight that brings me down to here, and then I'm going to make the most of the momentum. It's a bit of a tongue twister, I know, but I'm going to make the most of the momentum and bring my arms up behind and then drop again and use that momentum to bring myself up here. I can also think about the circle, so thinking about my fingertips tracing a circle here and then retracing part of that circle again. If you're working seated and you're finding that perhaps your arms are hitting the chair or the wheels, you can bend your elbows here and go that way with nice heavy elbows and up. If you're working standing, a bend, a kind of sponginess in the legs. is really helpful. And if you're working seated, this sponginess in the torso, that's that soft space between the pelvis and the rib cage, to find that sponginess higher up in the body. So once again, I'm going to swing twice. And there's a way of counting these swings that we'll introduce some music a bit later on, but this swing is counted in threes. So 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, etc. And that is really helpful to find this swinging motion in the body. So I'm going to do 2 of these. We can do this together. So I'm going to swing and up. If I count that, start again. I'm going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. From here, just facing the front, you don't have to move. I'm going to come out to the side, keeping my one arm up to be an anchor as the rest of my body falls away from that, head included, with the arm having a little bounce and coming up. So I'm swinging and up. And then I can try the other side, swing and up. Same thing here. I can use my breath. Or I can think about the circles. So there's a nice big curve here coming round and up. Also, my spine is almost forming part of a circle like this, curving like that as I go round this way. And of course, the weight to drop and the momentum to take you up the other side. Yeah? Let's put all that together so it would be 2 simple coming forward, and then 1 to the side and 1 to the other side. Let's put that together, and I'm going to count that through, concentrating on the swing here. Okay. Ready, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Let's go again. A little bit of inhalation to begin. Make some space. And 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then bring your arms down and take a small rest. Taking a wide base, we're going to bring our hands around our very heavy elbows, nice loose elbows, and then we're going to swing from side to side. And as we do this, if you're working standing, you can take your legs a little bit wider if you would like. For anybody for this doesn't quite make sense in your body, you can also have a version with your arms swinging like this. And we're going to concentrate on the underside of a circle, so the undercurve. So that is helped by this motion in the elbows, going from high to low to high. You can also, particularly if you're working seated, find the undercurve at the bottom, and then the coming up the other side to side. If you're working standing, if you're working in the legs, thinking about the pelvis going down and up the other side, down and up the other side. For all of those versions, think about the weight helping you, and then you just make the most of the momentum to get up to the other side. Swing, 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 swing. Think about softness in the torso. For example, if you need your torso to come forward a little bit to help, that's fine. Try not to stay too rigid, open in the chest. That you can also soften and find some fluidity in the body. So I'm going to swing side to side 4 times. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to keep going, but change the emphasis into a little bit of a figure of 8. So figure of 8 going round, 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 round. I'll do that again from the top. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, figure of 8, 7, 8. I'm also thinking about my torso, using the spongy parts of my body, either in the midriff or in the legs, the ankle, the knee, and the pelvis, to take my weight over from side to side. Let's add on. So we have 4 swings, 1, 2, 3, 4. We have a figure of 8, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to bring my arms apart and I'm going to think about the outside of my arm here like a blade cutting through the air over. As it comes over, it's going to pass that movement onto the other side on the other arm, over this way, cutting through the air, cutting through the air. I can follow with my eyes as well, using the sponginess in my body over this way. Yeah? From the top, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and 7, and 8, and blade, cut, 3, 4. 4 of those. This last arm is going to then turn into, with a little bit of a curve, change of direction, a throw. Yeah, so the last one comes over and throw, 2, 3, 4. Yeah? So your version may look different to mine, it might look similar. Just think about the importance of those principles, the releasing of the weight, the making the most of the momentum, the breath, super important. You won't be talking and blabbering away like me, so you can really focus on your breath. And then the circular nature of this swing. So from the top, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, figure of 8, 7, 8. We cut, 2, 3, 4. We then throw. On the last one, if I'm working standing, I'm going to bring my leg in. I'm going to go out on a diagonal. If I think about being in a box, I go to the far diagonal. I come to the other diagonal. I step back, change my legs, and then I'm going to turn with my heel to face the front again. I'll do that one more time. So I have done a throw, 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 throw. I'm going to diagonal, diagonal, back, change my legs, and then find a circle. And then I'm going to move into improvisation. And then what will happen now is you'll see Nadan coming up, and he's going to show you a version that he's found, a translation that he's found. And of course, yours might look very different, but this is just as a possibility to try out. So we have swing, 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 figure of 8. We have the blade cutting through the space, moving in the torso, throwing, and then diagonal, diagonal, back and turn into improvisation. So you'll notice that Nadan has his brakes off for the whole time. If you need a bit more support, put the brakes on to assist. If you feel like you need a little bit more time to organize translation, remember you can pause here, maybe go back and review Nadan's version or work a little bit on your own. We're going to go on and try with music. And there'll be 4 counts in, and then we'll start on the first side. At the end, we'll have 12 counts actually, the second half of an 8 and another 8 to just move and improvise with these 4 principles using the swing. And then we'll do that one more time straight away, okay? So you can ready yourself in a working position, perhaps also readying with your arms. Here we go. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Figure 8, 7, 8. We go cut, cut. Throw. Gather. 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ready, same side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Throw. To start. Okay, so we're going to go into just mark through the other side. So I'm going to swing this way, 2, 3, 4, and then figure of 8, 2, 3, 4. Blade cutting this side first, 2, 3, 4. Same arm goes into the throw, 1, 2. This last one, we gather, we go diagonal, shift, back, and turn. Again, that last part. So I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Blade, 2, 3, 4. Throw, 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 throw. I'm going to go to the diagonal, to the other diagonal, step back and change my legs if I'm working standing, and have a turn. I've got the 5, 6, 7, 8 to improvise, and then another 8 also to improvise. And then we're going to go straight into the first side. So we'll do this new side into the first side. And we'll do that one more time before we move on. Okay, so we have 4 counts before we start, and we'll start the swing this side first, and then this side second. Okay, so waiting for the music. 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3. Yeah. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. and finding a way to come to rest. So this last sequence we're going to do, we're going to take an arm, thinking about a nice curve with the fingertips that goes underneath that undercurve that we talked about earlier. Undercurve up here, making space in the body. From here, the other side comes through and underneath as that arm comes back. So we go under, 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 4 times. Think about how the rest of your torso can join in as you go through 4 times. So this arm behind me, I'm going to do a throw, just like we had in the last sequence. A throw here, but from here, slightly different. I'm going to curve my fingers underneath like a wave going under and leading me out this way. Could be diagonal back, it could be to the side or diagonally front, whatever works for you. Nadan will do a translation in a moment, so you'll be able to see his version if that's helpful. So we've come over here, we come round, and then these fingers are going to pull my other arm to meet. Let's go from the top. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4. I throw, turn under, pull my arm. From here, I'm going to let this arm drop. And I'm going to make the most of the momentum, as we've been doing so far, and take a circle. So it has a little bit of a up to help go over the top. From the top, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and 8. From here, I'm reaching out this side, but the lower part of my body is going to win this tug of war, and I'm going to go in this direction, trailing a part of my body the other side. Yeah, it could be my arm, it could be my head, slightly leaning away from the direction that I'm going to go, and I'm going to go in a circle around this way. Once again, 1, 2, 3, 4, throw 5, under 6, and 7, and 8. The lower part leads, something gets left behind. We go 1, 2, around by 3, and then I'm going to go the other way, a circle for 4. Yeah, so we had 6, and 7, and 8. We go 1, 2, around by 3, around again on 4, coming back to front. I'm going to take a breath and make space in my body for 5. Yeah, a whole breath to take a breath, a whole count to take 1 breath in. And then if you're working standing, there's a couple of versions. I can go underneath something this way to face the side. So that's a 3/4 turn. So I go, take a breath in, 5, round on 6. Another version, I could go, take a breath in, and then I could bring my hand down, lengthen my leg, go round, and come up this way. Yeah? You'll see Nadan's version in a moment, but the idea is that I drop underneath something and I turn round to face the side. From the top, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and 8. We go 1, 2, 3, around 4, breath 5, 6, little float here, 7 and 8. So arriving, facing this direction on the count of 8. One more time from the top. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a 7, and a 8. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, breath, 5, 6, 7, 8. From here, I'm going to turn and fall with my head falling this way, round like this. If it's possible, showing the back to the front, coming up the center, holding a balance here. And then I have the rest of the 8, so 5, 6, it'll be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then a whole other 8 to improvise using these 4 principles: breath, momentum, weight, and circles. From the, let's do that last part again. So we come round here, 1, 2, 3, 4, breath, 5, 6, 7, 8. We go 1, 2, arrive 3, and then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Improvising. And then we will repeat one more time like this. So you'll see Nadan's version coming up now. Take some time with this if you need to pause. Maybe that you might find your own version, doesn't have to be just like Nadan's, but take some time, and if you're working standing, you can use this time also to practice your version too. And undercurve, 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 throw, circle the arm into a turn, and a quick turn the other way. Take a breath in and turn, lifting up, falling forward, and into improvisation. Okay, let's try that with music now. So just like the track before, we'll have 4 counts in, and then we'll start with our first movement. So find yourself in your space, ready to move. Think about those 4 principles, especially the breath, and let's go together. 2, 3, and 1. 8 more counts. Ready, and 1. So finishing off your improvisation, we're going to go one more time. So think about a bit more breath. And something that I learned about release-based technique is that you can often, well, you probably guessed it already, you can often be a little bit late. It's because you can have time to suspend, which might make you a little bit late in your counting, but you make up that time with the drop afterwards. And sometimes that can be quite exciting to watch. So don't worry about if you're slightly late for a count. You can make that up with that release and that swing, circular motion, using the momentum to catch catch up. Let's go one more time. We'll do 2 times through. Remember that rest of that 8 count and another 8 for improvisation. And then at the end, we'll keep going and we'll find a way to finish. Okay, so here we go. 4 counts in. 3, 4. Remembering those principles of breath, never fight the wave, go with it. Think about the weight of your body, the circles, and make the most of the momentum. Finding a way to settle back, slowing down, and let's take a breath in together. And with a swing, as we did in the beginning, swing and up. One more time, swing and up. So take some time to have a little stretch, cool down. If you enjoy this video, you can click the like button below. You can also subscribe to the channel. There's a lot of classes already in the library, in the archive, and also lots coming, so you'll get some information about that as they come. And please do write in the comments below, maybe ask some questions, tell us what you think. Until next time, thanks very much, take care.